On a winter's Friday in London. My name is Matthew. If you haven't been with us before, welcome to Onepoint Oneness. These meditation sessions we've been running every Friday morning for a good number of months now. And the idea came, if you haven't been before, just a bit of background, the idea came because many of us at Onepoint Consulting had a long-term practice of daily meditation that we find extremely beneficial. That idea had come to share meditation insights and meditation practice with a wider audience, with the hope of benefiting many more, and so people could see the benefits of daily meditation practice. So a warm welcome to all of you today. Sorry for the slight lateness of the start today. We had a few technical issues, but I'm sure you are all sitting peacefully and practicing your introspection. Today, we're very, very happy to welcome my good friend, David Goodman. David is a former community dentist. He's presently a trustee of the Janki Foundation, which is a UK-based charity promoting spirituality in healthcare. Really, really important at the moment, obviously. He is also an organic gardener and loves all types of sport. David is a long-term meditator who runs regular workshops on personal development. His down-to-earth, light-hearted approach to spiritual topics makes him an accessible and interesting speaker. And today, David's going to be talking to us about in the flow, on the go. So I shall hand over to you, David. Looking forward to the session.
Great. Thanks, Matthew. I also thought one of the other things connected to being in the flow on the go is going with the flow, which we've had to do this morning due to a few hitches. But I think for me, this is what makes this kind of topic really interesting, which is why I picked it. As Matthew said, I was always on the move as a kid, and I just about did any sport that was going. And I'm still, even though I don't really play much sport now, a bit of golf. But I've always really interested in sport, and simultaneously when I was training to be a dentist, and then I started working with mostly young people with quite challenging behaviors. So that was all very challenging, and that's when I started getting seriously interested in meditation. But one of the problems was that a lot of meditations, teachers with the eyes closed. So I sort of did lots of meditations actually, and then I found one that also encouraged us to do eyes open meditation, and I found that was quite interesting because I was really interested in the connection between kind of a meditative state or a higher state of consciousness or a spiritual awareness. And I think that means, working at your best, and how you can bring that into activity, into your work, into all your interactions in a very natural way, so you don't become what I call a sort of a meditative space cadet when you're sort of floating around. I am from Liverpool, so I was into all the Beatles stuff, and meditation did have a little bit of a thing with that, didn't it? All right there, John. And what I found is, because my life was so busy and it was just perpetual motion at work, and I had to be constantly making decisions very quickly. I needed something that was could do that. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, because of my interest in sport, I'd come across quite a few instances where sportsmen had talked about a time when they were in the zone. And you can read all about this on Google God, but I found it really interesting because it seemed to mirror like a professional life, or people who are really busy, I guess, like most of you guys out there, where when they describe this being in the zone, they're going hell for leather. They're very active, but they describe their mind as being very quiet, very silent, they're very intuitive, they're very calm, even though they're moving very fast. And the example I often quote, a couple of the American football guys, the NFL guys, one guy has his back to the play, picks the ball, throws it into a space, and the other guy who's got his back to that just catches it, and it's a touchdown. And when you ask them, how did you know the guy was going to run there, and how did you know the ball was going to go there, they just said, well, I just knew. So that was kind of intriguing to me. The other thing that was quite intriguing was that when you look at the brainwave patterns when sportsmen or people working at peak performance, because essentially being in the zone is being at peak performance, working at your best, and but the brainwave patterns are very, very similar, and in some cases identical to some meditative brainwave patterns. So you're in the zone, what I call the meditation zone of sort of peace, love, kindness, compassion, that kind of genre. And I thought, wow, that's fascinating. Funnily enough, as synchronicity would have it, I just read an article about Lewis Hamilton, which I'm sure most of you know is now the world's greatest Formula One driver. And in a recent drive where I think it was in Spain, let me just read this because I just found it absolutely amazing. He described being in a perfect state of clarity when he was driving. Now, obviously, he's moving a lot faster than we do, and he's moving a lot faster than most sports people. In fact, he's going hundreds of miles an hour. But he described this, and I found it really interesting that he's now experimenting with different types of meditation, and he's talking about being peaceful and calm and wanting to make a positive impact on the world. And I thought, how interesting. So this state is called flow, and for me, I want to talk a little bit about that in the meditation. It's, in essence, can I get into this zone where I'm really in contact with something positive and powerful, and then allow that to flow out when I'm doing things, so that my activity doesn't basically do my head in. So that's really the territory that I'd like to go along. Okay, so I'm sure some of you may have meditated before, some of you may not. So just get yourself comfortable in whatever position that is. I just like to sit like this in a chair. And I think for those of you who might be new to meditation, you know how to meditate because we're doing it all the time. It's called thinking. So meditation just literally means to think. But so true meditation means to heal. So it means to start creating thoughts that produce a sense of healing within the self. And for me, that means feeling comfortable with myself, and therefore comfortable with my surroundings, comfortable with other people, and comfortable with the situations that I'm in. Okay, so first point, meditation's easy. It's just a different way of thinking. So get yourself comfortable, but keep alert, because I think meditation will produce relaxation, but I like to do what I call like an alert meditation. So it's not like a flopping relaxation maybe you do after your yoga class, but this is relaxing the mind whilst it's alert. So let's just take a moment. You can move your shoulders a little bit, maybe just move your legs. Just basically get yourself relaxed. And then also acknowledge to yourself that actually it's a great thing that you're doing. It's a great thing that you're doing here, giving yourself this precious gift of some time with yourself. And just acknowledge that, yes, This is a great gift. It's a real act of self-care. It's an act of self-compassion. It's an act of self-kindness. And now, what I'd like us to do, I'd really like us to just go through a little process of being really present. So whatever you've been doing before you came into the session, and whatever you've got to do after the session, what I'd like you to do is almost like just draw a circle around yourself and just put all of that on pause. Press the pause button on the before and after, and just allow yourself to come right into the present, right into the here and now. So you'll be aware of your surroundings, so you can practice just being aware of that. You may be aware of some noises around you, and that's fine because we want to make meditation natural. I can hear a few noises. I think someone might be hoovering upstairs. Bless them. But actually, what I've learned is a real skill for meditation is I hear the noises, I hear the sounds, but inside I consciously choose not to give them my attention. And I make this conscious choice. And I also make this conscious choice not to try to push things away, because that all just creates tension, actually. And maybe you're, I don't know, you might be in an office block somewhere. So there might be a lot of things going on around you, and it's perfectly okay. Just learn the art of just letting things be. I don't need to be attracted to them. I don't need to give them my attention, but I also don't need to use energy trying to move them out. Because what I found is whatever I think about, it's as if I become connected with that thing, and then energy either flows from me to that, or sometimes energy comes in from that to me. And what I don't want to be is a vacuum cleaner, sort of sucking up lots of negative vibrations from outside inadvertently. Hopefully, I can become a radiator so that my peaceful state of mind can flow out. Okay. So get your body comfortable, and then just follow my thoughts, and I'll just share a couple of thoughts to guide us. So what I'd like you to do now is to bring your attention inwards. And I would suggest that you consciously verbalize that to yourself. So just think now, okay, everything's said. And just in your mind, inside your mind, just think, I consciously bring my thoughts inwards. I leave everything outside. I become aware of the body, just sitting comfortably on the chair maybe. And now I want to focus onto something that's going to allow me to flow something very beautiful and positive into me. And so in a very natural way, just sort of bring your thoughts upwards, past the arms, the chest, and just bring them to around the center of the forehead, which I think is where we think from. We experience it as the seat of consciousness within the body. It's sometimes called the eye of understanding, or the third eye. You may have heard of that term. And what I'd like you to do is to just bring your consciousness there, and you can imagine almost as if you're all your thoughts, your feelings, everything that are very dispersed are just coming back, coming in, coming in, coming in, and they're coming right back to the source, to the origin of those thoughts. And that's me. That's me in a very concentrated form as pure spiritual energy. And sometimes we can, if it helps, you can visualize that as a light or a spark or a star. But that's where we think from. And of course, thoughts create our feelings, so that's where we feel from. And now, as my attention is focused inwards, as my attention is focused and very, very concentrated, I'd like you to start to feel what is our natural state. And our natural state is peace. And so what I'd like you to experiment with is inside your mind, just repeat what I say, but just slowly, just a couple of times. Not like a mantra, but just gently. And just think, just create this thought: at the deepest part of my being, I am peace. I am calm. So I'd just like you to gently repeat that inside your mind. At the deepest part of my being, I am peace and calm. You may find that your thoughts go out a little bit, you're thinking about something. And if that happens, because you've noticed it, just very gently bring your thoughts and your attention back to this thought. At the deepest part of my being, I am peace, I am calm. And really try to feel that. Really try to feel that. And really try to feel that as our thoughts are connected to this source of peace, which is me, that peace starts to flow. It's flowing out. It's flowing out right through my body. It's creating beautiful vibrations around me for others. And then the other aspect, I think, of flow is that, you know, when you're charging your phone, you need to connect it to a source of power, source of energy. And so another thing to experiment with is to imagine or visualize a little bit like a spiritual sun, just like the sun outside of ourselves. When you sunbathe, you don't really do much. You just stand under the sun, and the rays of the sun just reach us to feel that warmth and light. So just imagine that also, as I'm in my state of peace, I'm connected to a very beautiful source of peace, a little bit like a spiritual sun that's outside of myself. And I just allow the rays of that spiritual sun to flow into me. Because as I think about that source of peace, that higher source of peace, that naturally just flows from that source into me. And so just experiment with that and really try to feel. Really try to feel as if that energy of peace and power, that energy of peace and power and strength is flowing into you, and it's filling us, and it's recharging the battery of the soul, the battery of the consciousness. Just try to feel that. You're not really doing anything. You're just allowing that energy to flow into you. Try to really feel that you're being recharged, you're being filled. And I like to kind of capture that feeling. So whatever you're feeling now, just acknowledge it and internalize it, and just kind of store it away in the little, if you like, the meditation room of your mind, because you can come back to this feeling again, and that'll be useful to you. And also, I love to create this thought that as I'm filling myself with this power, I have the sense that, and the security to know that whatever comes in front of me, whatever challenges life throws at me, I do have the strength to deal with that. So just kind of capture that thought, store away your peace and strength and power, and then in your own time, just gradually come back to the surroundings of the room, sort of kind of reconnect. And if you have got your eyes closed, I just suggest you open them gently. Try and bring that feeling with you, because this will be this will be your homework for the day, or till next time, is to see if you can go back into this piece and then kind of flow it out, take it with you during the day. So store it up, bring it back with you, reconnect. I think it's good now you just rub your hands, your feet, and really ground yourself so that you're back in the room. But with this lovely thought, as I said, that you can just go back into this quiet space whenever you want. And then hopefully we'll all be flowing out something positive today rather than the other stuff. So I'll finish there, Matthew.
Great, thank you so much for that, David. That was a really lovely session. I love the really down-to-earth approach, of meditation is just thinking. And I was getting this image as you were taking us through that really lovely meditation about just almost like gently diverting the stream of thoughts, like when you have maybe put a few rocks in a stream, and you can gently change the flow, the direction, rather than working against something. It's more about this feeling of adjusting my thoughts.
That's right, because the water's amazing. It's just, if there's a rock there, it just flows around it. So yeah. That's also like going with the flow, like we had to do, because I've had a few hitches in the beginning. and actually it's fine. I know we do live things from here quite a lot now, and someone says, oh God, it's not working. It doesn't matter. Look, people out there understand. I was listening to a radio program live. It was a sports event, and the little kid came and said, Mummy, can you play with me? And she said, well, I can't do it now, darling, after about an hour. It was such quite and she wasn't phased. She just, and I don't think anyone bothers. And
Yeah, no, it was fine. And I'd like to thank everybody who's joining us today as well. And I'm sure you took a lot from that. And just looking forward to also next week, we have Jim Ryan returning, who's going to be talking about healing and something he calls harmonic well-being. So it's quite an interesting topic as well. So in the meantime, you'll see on the YouTube page you're looking at that there's links to the Oneness website, so you can find out about future events and topics. And also there's a link to feedback form. We always love to hear from you, so that's great as well. And please do share the link with your friends and family, because there's also in the Oneness page there a resource of all the previous talks as well. And this one from today will appear later on today also. So thanks to everybody for joining us. Wishing you a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Thanks very much again to David for the session. And we'll see you all again soon.